How do you block out negative people? I'm going to show you how to become so invincible, so carefree, and so detached from the negativity around you so you no longer allow it to affect you. In this episode, I'm going to take you through the 3 types of people, the ones who have the negative traits that are holding you back from reaching your desired reality. Let's get straight into it. The first type of negative person that is affecting your reality creation and blocking your manifestations, your goals, your business growth, your personal growth, whatever your goals be, is the complainer. There are people who will spend a lifetime complaining about what isn't working for them, what's not happening for them, what's difficult. The more you allow yourself to be around people who are continuously complaining, the more it will hold you back. Now, you may think that it's quite harmless to be around people who complain. I'm going to share with you why it is not, and it is detrimental to your well-being and your personal growth that you no longer allow people who are complaining to be in your circle. I'm not saying that you need to cut people out who are per se family members. I am talking about people who you don't have a deep connection to. Now, you may say to me, well, what if it is a family member, or what if it is a lifetime friend that you've had? When you are growing and evolving beyond your current identity, you are going to shift. You are going to change. You are going to have a new level of boundaries that don't allow you to have certain previous relationship dynamics that you would allow, even though internally you knew it wasn't right, you didn't feel comfortable around it, and you felt something that wasn't in alignment and congruence with who you are and what you desire in your environment. You didn't say anything and you didn't set the boundaries, so that behavior continued and continued around you, and it became a norm. When you shift your identity and you step into the next elevated version of yourself, the one aligned with your desired reality, what happens is you begin to outgrow people. Now, some people will say that other people are trying to hold you back, that once you start evolving into your new state of being, your new state of consciousness, that people don't like it and they will try to tear you down. I'm going to show you actually what happens, because most people, what they do is that when that shift is occurring, in the first 30 to 90 days, it is a seed and it is very fragile. Think of it this way: when a lobster sheds its shell, it has outgrown its shell. Just like you have outgrown your past identity, you will need to be shifting to a new solidified state, a new home, a new identity for yourself. The one that is larger, more expansive, the one that is aligned with who you have always desired to be, the one that is aligned with your desired expanded reality. In that phase, in that period of shedding that first shell and going into the new identity, there is no shell that is solidified, that has set this new identity. You are at the crossroads. Most people at that period are very vulnerable because they're still trying to find their bearings. They're getting used to the world because now they have shifted, and the way that they were interacting in the past was a lower identity, a smaller identity, an outdated identity. And when you shift into your current reality with the new identity, you're vulnerable. So what happens is people will start to react in a way that is not necessarily supportive, because, and I'll share why this happens. It is not that they are doing anything wrong or that they are bad people, that there is something wrong with them. They are used to an outdated version of you. And because they are used to an outdated version of you, they are used to an outdated dynamic, relational dynamic with you. So what that means is they have a way of relating to you that was suited to the way that you allowed in the past. When your identity evolves, you will find that you start to set new boundaries. You will find that your level of self-respect may arise. You will find that your level of self-worth starts to expand and solidify. When this occurs, the former dynamics of your relationships start to dissolve. And because they are dissolving, it is challenged by that person because they are used to the way you used to be. You will hear things like, "You've changed." You will hear things like, "You're not the same anymore." You will hear things like, "Who do you think you are?" You will even hear people say that they don't like the new version of you. And because there is a part of you that doesn't want to experience rejection, there is a part of you that will want to go back to the old ways, or it will begin to build resistance and anger and frustration and your own negative feelings that begin to be projected onto the other relationships you've had, former relationship dynamics that you've had, because you are frustrated and you are projecting and mirroring back that same level of frustration that's occurring. The way to break that is you are going to hold your ground. You are going to approach it in a mature, grounded, and certain way. You are going to not allow the frustration and negative feelings that surface that you want to project out to the people who are not relating to the new identity you have. So what you're going to do instead is hold your place, remind them very gently of the new boundaries that you have, the new standards that you have. Eventually, they are going to come around. If people are complaining around you and you no longer want to hear that because they are people you want to continue having in your life, you need to reframe and direct the energy, the conversations in those relationships in a manner that actually helps you to lead it in a direction and dynamic that is more neutral or more aligned to a more elevated experience. Most people have a short fuse, most people have a reactiveness, and they will react, and hence all it's doing is feeding the space between the two of you, the dynamic between the two of you. Consider it like this for the sake of this conversation. Imagine the entity itself lives off the dynamics between you and that person in frustration. Imagine that. Every time there is struggle, every time there is projection, every time there is heads butting, every time there's that dynamic, that entity grows and it feeds off that energy. The way to diminish that and cut off that tie with people who are giving off the complaining energy, which are affecting your creation of your reality, because negative energy will always keep you suppressed and small and not expanding into a higher frequency, into an elevated experience in your life. If it is someone close, as I mentioned, a family member, someone that you're committed to, or someone who is a lifelong friend, for example, or a business partner, and it works in many other ways, but there is this continuous complaining, all you need to do is shift the dynamic. You need to remain calm, keep your center, and shift the dynamic. Set new standards, explain the direction that you're going in. Now, they may brush it off. Like I said, they're committed to an older version of you. Where most people give up is they don't want to feel rejected. They don't want to feel outside of the greater social circle. So what they will do is they will bend on their boundaries. They will bend on their standards. They will compromise them just to fit in. You're not meant to fit into existing social dynamics. The key is to direct the direction of that frequency between you and that person by setting the standards very, very clearly, setting the boundaries in a non-loaded emotive way. As soon as you remove the emotion out of it, you can help the person who is a regular complainer to see life from a different dimension by modeling what the non-complaining energy is, the gratitude, the opposite energy of gratitude. You could help them reflect and see what they could be grateful for. Now, keeping in mind, it is not your responsibility to fix anyone, but if you want to change and shift the dynamic of that relationship, you can direct it by changing the concentration, the direction, the focus of that conversation. The second type of person who is completely diminishing your growth, completely diminishing your reality creation, is the realist. It is the one who needs evidence before they believe in anything. People who are always looking only for the facts are missing out on the wonder of life. Think of it this way. All of the great achievers of our time, the ones who took the first step, the ones who were brave enough to build the bridges, to build the paths for the rest of people to follow, went without evidence. They were tapped into a higher force of creativity. They were taking on those visions and they were making those steps over and over again. No matter how many doors were closed on them, they continued because their vision, their conviction, and their level of certainty was so solidified. It didn't matter how many realists were around them. It didn't matter how many people were around them that were looking for continual evidence to reflect back to them why their vision, why their manifestation, why their reality creation goals and dreams and aspirations would not happen. Hence why, if you have people around you who are realists, who are looking for evidence, who are continuously laying down the facts, here's how you would manage that. Because ultimately, you are the director of your life. You are the one who can dictate the direction and influence the direction that you would like your relationships to go, at least to 50% of that direction. The other person needs to meet you halfway. This isn't about dominating a relationship. This is about meeting people halfway. And the ones who meet you halfway, you can progress on well together. The realist is looking for evidence. The realist has a lot of doubt. The realist doesn't even truly comprehend what faith is. Hence why it's very important that you build your level of certainty within yourself without the need of evidence. How does one do this? This is the work that I do with my 6 to 9 figure entrepreneurs, high performance people in the process of self-mastery. And I'm happy to be sharing that this is a part of the process so you can apply it to your life. Certainty without evidence is having the level of certainty. It is beyond belief. Belief can be influenced. Belief can be diminished based on what your mood or your perception is for that day, or how you're feeling, or who's around you. The majority consensus of that belief. I'm talking about certainty. The level of certainty that is unshakable, unequivocal, unmatched, no matter what anyone says or anyone does. It can never be rocked or shaken. It is the certainty as though, think of the creator, the creator's level of certainty. If the creator was to create, does the creator question and doubt? Does the creator ask others, what do you think? Does the creator ask a realist, is this real? What facts do you have? Absolutely no. The creator has a vision, the creator has an intention, the creator produces inception, and that turns into form. That is the exact same process that your reality creation is upon. But most people are unconscious of it. Most people are not aware that this is happening every single moment of the day. Now, it doesn't mean that one has to be in fear. My God, this is always happening. No. If you are aware of the dynamics of the laws of creation, which is the work that I teach in alignment with performance psychology, so you can achieve the standards that you want and the results that you want, you will know that certainty without evidence makes you absolutely, unequivocally untouchable. Therefore, it doesn't matter who's around you. If you have people who are not supporting your vision, you have people who can't see your vision. And why should they see your vision? It is not in their mind, and because it was gifted to you, it is yours to nurture. It is yours to bring into life, to take action in alignment and make it happen. It is not based on the person who is a realist, a factualist, someone who is looking for solid evidence before they take action. People who are built that way have a purpose in this world. You can always go to them for something that actually needs some facts, needs the detail of that certain evidence, not when it comes to your reality creation, not when it comes to bringing your vision to life, not when it comes to taking your identity to the next level and creating the life that matches it at an exponential level. What you will find is this: you will start to not seek the validation from people who are realist, factual, who need evidence, because it doesn't feel aligned anymore. You will learn to love them and care about them and still release and not be attached to what they have to say. That is when you claim back your power and you become so certain and so embodied in who you are, your vision, and what you're here to create in life, that it doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter if they have something to say. Even their hurtful words start to roll off you and have no meaning. The third type of person you will want to avoid is the pessimist. The pessimist will always look at what's wrong. The pessimist is fueled by fear. The pessimist has a broken view of exponential reality creation. The pessimist has set themselves a limit of what could be. The pessimist who could be watching this episode right now would find it very hard to allow themselves to be open to the wonders of life, to be open to the possibilities, because there is a lace of fear around them. That fear can easily be let go with just one choice. The pessimist will always hold you back. The pessimist will tell you why your reality creation doesn't make sense, won't happen, may laugh, or tell you that it can't be so. What you are going to learn to do is not to necessarily cut people out who are very close family members. That is not what I'm speaking of. But you're going to become more selective with who you allow in your circle. I know there are people who say on the internet that you need to be mindful of the 5 people that are within your circle, because it does determine what your income capacity is. There is truth to that. So if you are involved with people who are very pessimistic about wealth creation, then it would pay you well to start mixing with people who have got a more expansive mindset when it comes to wealth creation, who have got a more confident and certain understanding that wealth creation is something that is so easy to do. It is not difficult. It is the lens that you're looking at that determines the process of the experience you're going to have. If you have one or any of these 3 types of people around you, there can be another way that can really build you up from a level of self-mastery that will naturally radiate out, and people who are of this type will no longer be drawn to you, so you will stop attracting them into your reality. The way it works is like this. You adopt and embody the type of identity that no longer allows negativity, pessimists, realists, and people who complain to be a close part of your circle. You no longer allow people who are holding you back and not respecting you and setting the same level of aspiration and understanding to your growth in your most inner circle. As I said, these could be people who you have had in your life for a long time. And sometimes certain relationships just outgrow each other. Those timelines of those relationships, they've served their purpose. You can always be grateful for the people who have come into your life. And some friends are there for a season, and some friends are people that you may see not quite frequently and see them sporadically over a long period of time because you share a history. It doesn't mean you have to cut everyone out of your life. However, the people that you focus most of your attention to and share most of your energy with will absolutely impact the way that you create your reality. Hence why I teach my clients, and I'm sharing with you today, that who you are, your own identity, your own expectation for yourself, your own standards, your own boundaries, it all impacts how you see yourself, the level of self-worth you have, and hence the type of relationship dynamics you create, you attract, and you yourself give as an experience to others. The key is not just to sit there and reflect out to the world and think that it is everyone else's fault. The idea is to not only shift the type of relationship choices you're making, but to shift yourself first. When you shift yourself first and you step into the identity that is totally aligned to the reality you want to create, you will naturally attract the higher quality people that you do want in your life, the type of people who will support you through the aspirations and goals that you have, the type of people who will build with you, the type of people who will bring in new energy, new ideas, different ways to look at things that help you in part of the process to evolving to the one who makes it happen. Hence why I always say that who you surround yourself with, the type of mindset, the type of personalities, the type of energy, the type of frequency that you are experiencing in exchange together, because you create something together, can absolutely make or break your desired reality. Before you can expect anyone else to change around you, you must change first. You are the center of your own experience of life. The moment you change how you see the world is the moment the world will start to change and reconfigure around you.